Good afternoon from Nigeria and good evening from China. I want to really appreciate Dr. Sunday Abba for this opportunity. So today I will be briefly talking about Scholarship 101, and this class is going to be an introductory class to anything that has to do with scholarship. So I want to believe all of you are anatomical students. So there will be a Q&A session at the end of my talk. So I have enough time to stay online and discuss everything that you want to know about scholarship. So feel free to ask any question at the end of my presentation. And please, if I have network issues, you can also cut me and tell me, okay? Thank you so much. So my name is Caleb Onoja Akogu. I am from Kogi State, Olamobro local government, and I'm from Ogugu, for some of you that know that part. And I had my bachelor's degree from the University of Agriculture, Makodi, in 2021. And I'm currently a master's student at Wuhan Botanical Garden, Chinese Academy of Sciences. So today I will be talking about everything you need to know about making your application. So before I start, I would like to share my scholarship story. Yes. So I want you guys to pay attention to the story I'm going to share because it will form some of the things we're going to be discussing during my talk. So I can't remember the year anyway, but I know it was in my 300 level. My fellowship coordinator, press secretary of Fellowship of Christian Student Coordinator, she asked me a question about my fear after graduation. And I want to believe that the fear of every student after graduation is basically job security. So she asked me about my fear, and I told her my fear is job security. And she told me I can apply for scholarships abroad. And that was the first time I heard about scholarships abroad. Fast forward to 2018 thereabout, we had a strike, internal strike or ASSON strike, I've forgotten. So I went to Kaduna State during the strike. And there was a time I went to church. For some of you that know United Evangelical Church, I went for Wednesday class. So during the Wednesday class, after the Wednesday class, the elders of my church, they got talking about scholarship. And it might interest you guys to know that one of the elder, Dr. Sunday, is a relation to Dr. Sunday Abba, who invited me for this talk. Yeah, so they spoke about scholarship, and when we were going home, I asked him to tell me more about scholarship. Then he told me I can even have a professor who will sponsor me sponsor my studies for scholarship abroad. So that night when I went home, I subscribed to everything about scholarship. I started getting information about scholarship. I started building my CV about scholarship. Then in 2019, when I graduated, I went home, and during that period, COVID came. So there was nothing we could do. We were just at home. We could not go for service. I used that period to gather a lot of knowledge about school. I was attending Zoom meetings. I was reading more about how to write an essay. I was getting relevant information about scholarship. And I'll be talking about some of the Zoom meetings I attended, some of the programs I attended during that period. So I knew I was going to go for service in 2022. Yeah, so I had in place everything I need for scholarship. I needed to get my academic transcript. I needed to apply for my passport. I needed to talk to my lecturers who will recommend me. So I had already planned everything down. So the moment the lockdown was lifted, I went straight to school. I applied for my transcript. Then I went to Kaduna again. I applied for my international passport. During my NYC, I used the whole period of my NYC to apply for scholarships. And luckily for me, I finished my NYC in June 20, I think June or July 2022. And before I finished my scholarship, I think June also, I got the notification of this scholarship. And that is why I am today. So this class will prepare you for some of you who are still in 100 level, some in 200 level, 300 level. This class will prepare you if you are interested in doing any of your studies abroad. This class will prepare you on how you can go about the process and start preparing from now. And I would like to also tell you this applying for scholarship, it is a very tedious job. It is not something you feel is your father's birthright. I want to tell you that a lot of people are applying for scholarship every day, and you need to be very serious when it comes to scholarship application. Like for me, I'm already doing okay, you guys can see. I'm doing my master's already. However, this book contains everything about my PhD scholarship. You understand? Professors I've met, interviews I need to take, every requirement about writing SOP, all the requirement the school need. I have everything in the book. I still work with Google Drive, I still work with my calendar, but I feel writing this thing down, carrying this book anywhere I go reminds me a lot. So if you are really serious about scholarship, you need to have something, you need to have a separate book where you write things about the scholarship. When you visit a school, write the requirement of what is needed, have a book. I just have something like this and be serious about it. So we dive into the presentation immediately. Yes. So those things you need when applying for scholarship. Number one, you need international passport. Yes. For some scholarships, you don't need international passport. Yes. I think scholarship like maybe Chevening and Commonwealth, I've forgotten. I applied for some of them then. You don't need to have an international passport for some of them. But for some, like applying to schools in the US, applying to schools in Canada, anything that has to do with university scholarship, you will need an international passport. So make it a choice or make it something that will be maybe top of your priority, that I must get an international passport because it is a gateway to leaving Nigeria or going abroad for anything you want to do. International passport is very important. And the new government is making it possible for getting international passport very easy. So if you are now in your 300 level and your 400, if you are close to graduation, maybe your 400 level, please do well to apply for your international passport. International passport takes at least 5 years to expire. We have 5 years, we have 10 years. Ensure you get your international passport because it is one of the major things you need when applying for scholarship. But remember, you don't need it for all the scholarships. Yes, but you need it for some. So to be on a safer side, it is advisable you get an international passport. Yes, number two, application fees. Yes, there are some of these scholarships out there that you must pay application fee. Yes, however, just like international passport, there are some scholarship you don't need to pay application fee. Like the Erasmus scholarship and the scholarship I'm currently on, you don't need to pay application fee. But if you want to apply to maybe university scholarships, you need to pay application fee. But one of the good thing about application fee is there's something we call application fee waiver. Yes, application fee waiver gives you the opportunity to apply for university scholarship or any scholarship without paying the application fee. But how do you get this application fee waiver? Application for university scholarship normally starts around September. Yes, so from June, July, August, these universities will begin to organize what we call open house or information session. So that's why you need to familiarize yourself with universities you want to apply to. So when you attend the open house for some schools, you'll be guaranteed application fee waiver. There are a lot of these schools out there. You can check them on Google. But I know of some schools like Wayne State University. The moment you attend the information house of Wayne State University, you are guaranteed of getting an application fee waiver and you apply to that school free of charge. And also there are other ways you can get application fee waiver. One of those ways is to send an email to the graduate coordinator detailing maybe you are facing some financial problem or you don't have this money. You can explain to the graduate coordinator or the professor you have in that school and you'll be given an application fee waiver. And another way of getting an application fee waiver is backing up your email with proofs. Yes, I remember getting an application fee waiver to Yale University when I applied in 2022 thereabout. What did I do? I needed to print my bank statement. I attached my bank statement to my email and I was given an application fee waiver. And the application fee waiver was more than 100 USD. You get. So these are ways you can get application fee waiver. One, you need to attend open house. Number two, you need to right to graduate coordinators. Yes, but I want to categorically state this. Those that give application fee waiver have many applicants. Yes, so you must have it at the back of your mind that in as much as you are getting this application fee waiver, also ensure to apply to schools that you will need to pay application fee. This will really boost your chances of getting admission to to your desired school. Yes, and another thing you need is your academic CV. Academic CV is very, very important. Without this, you can't apply for any scholarship. And I want to tell you that there's a difference between an academic CV and a job CV. Yes, an academic CV is not supposed to have your state of origin, it's not supposed to have your date of birth, it's not supposed to have some information that are contained in your job CV. Academic CV is supposed to be just straightforward to the point. Yes, an academic CV is divided into sections. You have your education section, you have your work experience, you have your research experience, you have your publication, you have your volunteering, just straight to the point. However, there are some schools that will tell you these are things we need in your CV. And that is why if you're applying to any school, first go and read the instruction about what is needed in your academic CV. Yes, and there are lots of resources out there that you can go on YouTube. You can also watch videos on how to write an academic CV. An academic CV, you have to just be straight to the point. You don't need to have too many information. You just have to be straight to the point. And if you're applying to maybe the US, US has a pattern of the academic CV. For US, the year should come first, followed by maybe, for instance, for me now, I graduated in 2021. So it should be 2021 bachelor's in botany, 2022 MSc in botany. That is how it should be for US. But there are some universities that also have different patterns. You have to just read and know the pattern the school wants. And for scholarship like Erasmus, Erasmus will tell you they want their own academic CV. And for Erasmus, I think the website for their own scholarship is Europass. I've forgotten there about where you impute your information and you have your picture on your CV. So for every school you want to apply to, for every scholarship you want to apply to, ensure you read the requirement of the academic CV, and you have to know how to write a good academic CV. It is very important. Just like I said, this is scholarship 101. So this is like introducing you to the requirements, all the things you need when applying for scholarship. There are some detailed lessons on how to write all these things we are going to talk about today. And I wish that after my talk, you can go deep and get to know about this. And possibly if we have the time, we can also do it again. Yes, another thing is your transcript. Yes, your academic transcript. Yes, and we have two types of transcript. We have the student transcript and we have the official transcript. The student transcript will always have student copy on the watermark, while an official transcript will have official copy as the watermark. And the student transcript is easy to get. Student transcript are transcript you upload to the application portal when you are applying for scholarship. And I can say getting a transcript is one of the major problem we have in Nigeria. I can tell you it took me more than 3 months, if not more than, to get my academic transcript. And I really want to thank the new VC of my school now. They have made getting the student copy of transcript very easy. And I also know it was quite difficult for you guys in PAU. Yeah, some of my friends that got their transcript from PAU share their experience that it was difficult. I don't know of now, but I wish to plead that if VCs can come up with a process of getting this student their student copy of transcript as easy as anything. For my school here, the moment you finish your courses and they are computed, you can just go on the website and print your student copy of your transcript directly. You get? So you must make sure you have student copy of your transcript. And these are some of the things you need to do after graduation. Sorry, after graduation. The moment you know you are graduating, start the process of applying for your student copy of your transcript. So that the process, even though it will take 3 months or 4 months, you can easily get it when you need it. Yes. Then another thing we need English test. Yes, at the end of my slide, I categorize some of the things that are very important and those that are not very important. Yes, for English test, you need to write an English test, which is not compulsory for some. However, scholarship is becoming very, very competitive. Yes, and having an English test, we have types of English tests. We have IELTS, TOEFL, SAT, GMAT, GRE, Duolingo, and the rest. having an English test will really enhance your chances because the scholarship pool is you are competing with people from all over the world. You are competing with people that have this English test. And just imagine you are competing with someone that have English test and you don't have English test. Having an English test will enhance your chances of getting admission, especially to the US. However, it is not compulsory. And for most schools, Nigeria is exempted of providing English. They were categorized as countries that English is their first language. So you need to have English proficiency letter. Yes, English proficiency letter will attest to the fact that your studies or your country has English as their first language. And I don't know if if PAU has made it easy for students, but I know when few of my friends were applying, for you to get an English proficiency letter from PAU, the title of the letter will be addressed to the school you are submitting your application. So for instance, if you are applying to 10 schools, you need to apply 10 times to get English proficiency letter. And I want to also plead if they can change that policy so that the title can just carry to whom it may concern, so that you can use that particular English test to apply to many schools as you can. The English test I got from my university, University of Agriculture Makurdi, back in 2021 is still the same English test I've been using because the address was to whom it may concern. So I can submit it to any application. It's just to show that English was my first language and my studies was done in English language. So it is very important you have either English test or you get an English proficiency letter. Yes, and another one is recommendation letter or letter of recommendation. And this is very important. This is very, very important. A recommendation letter is something that will talk about who you are, your personality, your integrity, and everything you bring into graduate school. And recommendation letter are supposed to come from maybe your faculty, your supervisor, or professors. Yes, and it is very important that you build good relationship with your lecturers. Yes, the mentality that you don't need your lecturers after graduation, please, I want you to bury that mentality today. You need your lecturers, you need your faculties after graduation. And I can tell you that the best recommendation letter you can get is from your faculty because you've been with your faculty for more than 4 or 5 years. Throughout your stay in the university, you've been with your faculty. So your faculty will be able to really write a recommendation letter that attests for your character and your integrity. So it is very important you have a good relationship with your faculty. And most schools will tell you your recommendation letter should come from professors. Yes, they will categorically state it that your recommendation letter should come from professors. And I would like to also say, please make friends with your professors. Yes, be good to your professors. And don't just do it because you want recommendation letter. Build a lasting relationship with these people. I can tell you that even after graduating from the university in 2019, I still have good relationship with my lecturers back then. Some of them still review my SOP up till date and I check up on them every month. Yes, so that is it's very important for you to have this good relationship with your faculty, not just because you want recommendation letter, no, but just build this good relationship with them so that you can fall back to them each time you need them and they'll be willing to help you. And another thing I would like to state is some schools will tell you the email you submit for your recommender should be an official email. For instance, my email should be Akogu Caleb Onoja at University of Chinese Academy of Sciences.com or anything. You should carry the acronyms of your university. That is an official email address. And some schools will tell you you should submit an official email address of the recommender. And it is very important. It is very important you tell your recommenders to have an official email address because it will give more integrity to your recommendation letter. And I yeah, it is very important you have people on standby that are willing to help you recommend you for your application. And know that if you are really serious with application, you need as many recommendation letters as possible. So it is very important you build a very good relationship with people you trust or people you feel can recommend you anytime, any day. So another thing that you will need for some scholarship is WES, yes, World Education Service. So This organization, they help you to evaluate your transcript and send it directly to your school. Yes, some schools will require that you first of all send your transcript to WES. WES will do the evaluation before sending it to the school. But it is not compulsory for all application. Yes, it is not compulsory, and you can also email the graduate coordinator and also get exemption from this process. It is quite expensive for you to first of all send your transcript to WES before WES send it to the school you're applying to. So this is not compulsory for some schools, but some schools require you do this process when you're applying to their school. And here is one of the important things that you all will need. Yes, scholarship ACEs. Yes, scholarship ACEs. Yes, scholarship AC is just very important as having having a salt in your soup. Yes, without it, your soup won't be sweet. That is just how important scholarship AC is to your scholarship. And we have different types of scholarship ACs. For some schools, they will require different types of scholarship ACs. And it is very important for you to first of all read the requirement of the school you're applying to. Yes, don't make that mistake of submitting a generic scholarship essay to different scholarship. No. Some schools will categorically ask you some questions they want you to talk about in your essay, and it is very important you have everything. And if you remember when I started my presentation, I told you I have a book. This book, this book has everything about scholarship. So for all the schools I apply to, I have all the requirements of all the scholarship essay they want. You get so though some you just have to maybe change some sentences or some things, but it's very important for you to know the requirement of the scholarship essay. And one of the scholarship essay we have is PS, personal statement. Yes, your personal statement talks about your background. Yeah, your background, be it academically or professionally. Yes, your personal statement should talk about some of these struggles you faced in your academic life or the struggle in your family. But don't be, how will I put it? Don't sell yourself so low, as in don't overwrite the personal statement that you pity yourself at the end of the day. No, just be concise and be brief and just hit the hammer on the nail when writing your personal statement. Some schools will require that you have a personal statement and you have a statement of purpose, and they will tell you what they want you to talk about in this essay. So it is very important for you to read about these things before you nail your application. The second thing is diversity statement. Yes, diversity statement should talk about how important you are or the course you are studying to your community. You get. So it is very important for you to also read about what you are supposed to write in your diversity statement. Yes, in your diversity statement, you can talk about maybe you come from an unrepresented community, maybe you advocated for your community that were not properly represented. In your diversity statement, this is where you talk about some of these things. But remember, read what your school wants you to write about your diversity statement. And the other point is motivation letter. Yes, your motivation letter basically should be about what is your motivation for applying to this school? What is your motivation of even doing anatomy in the first place? Yes, you should be very, very careful in writing this motivation letter. In as much as this motivation letter, you can still talk about what motivated you to apply for graduate school, what motivated you to apply to the university. But it should be more of motivation. Were you a leader? You can talk about what motivated you to be a leader. I don't know if you're getting my point. And some of these things also you can talk about them in your personal statement. Yes, but you have to know the difference between all these letters. And the last one is SOP, statement of purpose. Yes, and I want to say, like some schools that will require personal statement and require SOP, these are two different things. So you should be very careful. Okay, sorry. Am I audible? You can just do this. Okay. So for schools that will require personal statement, and I think you guys are frozen. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm good. Yes. So for some schools that will require personal statement and statement of purpose, you have to be very careful so that you don't repeat almost everything in your SOP, in your personal statement. Yes, and that is why some of those schools, they will tell you these are the things we want you to have in your personal statement, and these are the things we want you to have in your SOP. That is one. However, there are some schools that will just want you to have only statement of purpose. That simply means in your statement of purpose, you should be able to write about your personal statement and your statement of purpose. And when I mean statement of purpose should be about the reason why you are applying to that school. Yeah, and your statement of purpose, you have to be a bit detailed. Yes, you talk about your introduction, you talk about maybe the courses you are doing now, you talk about your leadership and everything. Just like I said earlier, some of these things are things we still need to do other seminars or other workshop on how you can write about all these essays. But there are videos out there on YouTube, there are um X channels on X where people are taking their time to talk about how to write a good scholarship essay. So you have to know the difference between all these things. And remember, read the requirements of what your school wants. Yes, it is very important. Yes, and the other thing here is these slides I'll be talking about things that are not compulsory per se, but will enhance your chances. Yes, the first thing is publication. Yes. And as an undergraduate student, I will advise you guys that you should have that mindset of getting your undergraduate project published. Yes. Even though the result is good or the result is bad, ensure you get your undergraduate project published. That makes you an author. Yes, and have it today that when you are talking about your project with your professor, have it at the back of your mind and tell your professor that you want or your lecturer, sorry about that, that you want to do a work that you want it published. Yes, and begin to identify journals where you can get your work published. Yes, most scholarship, like the scholarship I am on currently, they value publication so much, and during the interview, professors will ask you, have you published a paper before? Are you a first author? Are you a second author? And staying in school for like 4 or 5 years should give you that advantage of having publication, at least one. If you can have more than one, it is very good. I know a student who had more than three publications as an undergraduate student, and it speaks volume to your application. It simply means you are a very good student. So ensure that your undergraduate project, you get it published. It is very important you do that. Don't just finish your thesis and drop it somewhere. No, pick that thesis, get it published. It is very important. The other thing is volunteering. Yes, volunteering. You need to be someone that should be willing to go out of your way to help people. You need to be a volunteer. Yes, and for you guys in the health community, you have a lot of things that has to do with health that you can volunteer for. I have one of them in the next slide. Yes, you have a lot of things you can volunteer for. Please ensure you volunteer. And I can tell you, Dr. Sunday Abba, there was a time we were discussing, I think around 2021 or 2019, back then when I was still at home. He was telling me that if he's reviewing maybe job application or any application for people and he sees volunteering in that CV, he takes that person serious. Because for you to go out of your way to help people, that simply means you have a very large heart. And it makes you a very good candidate for any scholarship you're applying for. I think Chevening or Commonwealth, yeah, or MasterCard, they will specifically ask you what are your community services. And community services are this volunteering that people do. Yes, ensure you volunteer, and you can volunteer for things that are related to your field, which is very important, or you can volunteer for things that are not related to your field, what I don't really advise. Because for me, I did so many volunteering services that I could not even nail some of them in my SOP. But I was not doing them because I was even applying for scholarship then, but I was just doing them for because of the love I have for volunteering. Yes, and in my next slide, we have Make Our Hospital Work campaign. Yeah, Make Our Hospital Work campaign is a citizen-led community advocacy that aims to catalyze effort to make hospitals and other healthcare facilities fully functional. What we do basically is to get resource persons from different communities to adopt a hospital and advocate for community to take ownership of this hospital. What the government does for us is to build hospitals or primary health care center in our communities. It is now the duty of people in that community to take ownership of this hospital. And what we've been able to do in Government Cottage Hospital, Google, it's a great example of how Make a Hospital Work campaign works. So you can visit the website and read more about Make a Hospital Work campaign for yourself and try to become a volunteer. And I can tell you, applying for scholarship and having Make a Hospital Work campaign in your SOP or in the list of your volunteering activities, it will really give you that chance. It will enhance your chances of getting admission. So you can look at the website yourself. And also, one of the things that is very important is professional bodies. Yes, professional affiliation. Just like the Anatomical Student Society now, I think they should have maybe a national body for Nigerians, and there are also some international bodies. Yes, ensure you are part of professional bodies in your field. It is very important. And it is not just being part of these professional bodies. Ensure you take active roles in these professional bodies. Yes, there are some societies I belong to, like the Society for the Study of Evolution. There's a program ongoing. They fund undergraduates to attend their conferences for free. Yes, and it is very important you itemize some of these professional bodies and try to join them. There are some that require you paying money, but you can still email the coordinator in charge of the membership and tell them you can just explain yourself to them and you'll be given free membership. And ensure you participate actively in Anatomical Student Society. These are things that you write about when you are writing your SOP or when you are crafting your CV. It is very important. Yes, and I think this should be almost the last slide. Social media. You need social media presence. Yes, you need social media presence. And I'll advise you guys, otherwise you want to be an influencer, please stay away from TikTok. Don't spend much of your time on TikTok. I'm personally not on TikTok because it takes much of time. And something like Instagram or so, do well to stay away from things that will take most of your time. You should have a social media presence. I call it digital footprint. Yes. And having a social media presence simply means you follow resource persons in your field, you follow universities in your field, you follow professors in your field, and you get up to date with latest trends in your field. And I'll recommend three social media handles. The first is LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn is a very professional social media handles. Yeah, and on LinkedIn, you can meet a lot of people in your field or outside your field, and you can get motivated all the time. The second one is X, formerly Twitter. Yeah, Twitter is just like another market on its own. Twitter is a home of opportunities. Ensure you have your presence on some of these social media handles. And the last one is Blue Sky. Yeah, Blue Sky. Blue Sky, I think it started last year or last 2 years thereabout. Yeah, and there are lots of people that are leaving Twitter now, X now, to Blue Sky. So Blue Sky is just like a new social media handle that is taking over the social media world. So please ensure you cannot join the three of them at a go, but ensure you join few of them. They are very important. Like LinkedIn, joining LinkedIn is a bit boring if you the moment you join, but the more you get used to LinkedIn, the more you begin to enjoy it. So please ensure you have social media presence. Yes, it's very important. Yes, and I told you guys about some of the summit I attended when I was looking for scholarship. This is one of them. Yes, Liberty Career Academy Scholarship Summit. I attended this summit, I think, in 2021 thereabout, and I can tell you, this summit was one of the major reasons I got scholarship because the keynote speakers are Biodun, they are Folabi brothers. Yes, these were the three keynote speakers. The things they spoke about were some of the things I used when writing my SOP, were some of the things I used when I was having meetings, interviews with professors. There were some of the things I used when I was crafting my SOP. And I've always shared these resources to people. Yeah, for almost how many years now I've been sharing these resources to people. And the next summit is coming up on the 22nd of February. Yes, please do well to attend this summit. It is very important. Just like I told you earlier, this is just an introduction to scholarship. at this summit, you get to know more about how to write an SOP, about how to code email a professor, about how to write your CV. Yes, please, in all you do, 22nd of February, ensure you attend this summit. You will thank me later for attending it. So, as I summarize my presentation, I categorize some of these things into very important and okay, compulsory and necessary. Yes. Applying for scholarship, you need an academic CV. You can't dodge that. Without an academic CV, you can't apply for any scholarship. You also need your transcript, your academic transcript. It is very important. You also need recommendation letters. Yes. You also need scholarship essays, diversity statement, statement of purpose, personal statement, motivation letter. You need them. And these ones, they are not required in some scholarship, but they are necessary you have them. For passport, for some scholarship you don't need, but if you're applying to university scholarships, you will need passport. So please do all to get your passport. You will need application fee. Some it is not compulsory, but some it is compulsory. You also need English test. And I've told you, you can either use English language proficiency letter as a substitute for English test. But since scholarship is becoming competitive, you can begin to save money from now to write any of those English tests. And check the requirement of the school still. Yeah, it is very important. Some school only recognize IELTS and TOEFL. Some don't accept Duolingo and some other things. So check the requirement of some of these schools you're applying for before you write your English test. And publication or West evaluation. Yes, but for publication, I've told you, ensure you get your undergraduate project published. It is very important. Please don't just do that project and throw it away. Get it published. Yes, get it published. It is very important. So the parts in red, you can't apply for any scholarship without this part. While the part in white, you can apply for some scholarship without them, but they are also very necessary. You get them. And that ends my presentation. Thank you so much. And the floor is open for question and answer. Please know that I have a lot of time, so we can stay here and discuss, provided you guys are free to discuss. Thank you so much. Over to you.
So I thought we were going to, okay, thank you. You can do that better. So, how I need to speak with Caleb. So, let's take your questions. What we do is we write the questions, type them.
Sorry, you are not audible. Can't hear you.
Yes, we are not audible. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now, sir.
Oh, great, that's good. So, thank you so much. We're much grateful for taking our time to make this presentation for us. I contacted him sometime last week and he's able to put something like this. I think the students are excited. Are you guys excited? Yeah. Great, so we will take some questions and we'll let you know. Is that okay, Caleb?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll get some questions for you. So, questions? Okay, it appears they understood the course, the class very, very well. Or they don't understand anything. Caleb?
Sorry, sir. You are not audible. Yes, I can hear you, but doctor is not audible. I don't know if it means moving closer to the computer. Okay, there is no question. Okay. All right. Thank you guys. Bye.